Narcissist. Getting it wrong. Many years ago, one of the reasons why I, H.G. Tudor, began writing about narcissism, narcissists and psychopaths, why I wrote all of the books that I have written, why I have written the many, many blog articles and created so many of my excellent videos, is because there's so much misinformation about our kind out there. There are many people who do not understand narcissism but think that they do. Often, it's well-intentioned individuals who want to help other people, but they don't truly understand narcissism, and therefore they usually offer a view which is incorrect because they don't have the deep insight into what narcissism is and what it's like to be a narcissist. Or they simply regurgitate information that's already out there that is incorrect, and they add nothing new. There is also the issue that there are many unaware narcissists drawn to the platform of social media who believe that they are the victim of a narcissist and share their perspective. What they're actually doing is providing misinformation about narcissism, believing them to be the victim, when actually they are the narcissist. When I first looked at some of the information that was out there a number of years ago, I shook my head at the gaps in the knowledge that existed, and also the repeated errors that came forth. From time to time, I've picked up on some of these specific errors and pointed out why it's wrong. And just recently, an article came my way that appeared in Lad Bible. The article was written by Joe Harker, making reference to a supposed expert in narcissists, whose information demonstrates he isn't. The article explains, an expert in narcissists has claimed that they often do something when out and about with people which can leave those close to them upset. According to a man who helps survivors of narcissistic abuse, if you're out on a walk with a narcissist, then you're likely to find them walking ahead of you or your group instead of making an effort to be by your side. Wrong. You've got it wrong. This is another example of a so-called expert believing they know information about narcissism when in actual fact they don't. Taking to TikTok, the coach named Danish explained why narcissists often do this to their partners when others wouldn't. He said, number 1, narcissists have impaired, no, not impaired, or missing, correct, empathy, so emotional attachment bonds aren't truly possible. That's correct. Which is why they walk out ahead of the group or the person they are with. Wrong. Number 2, they walk in front of you to demonstrate dominance. In a normal and healthy relationship, partners walk together as equals and as two individuals with mutual regard. Not necessarily so. In contrast, narcissists walk ahead to invalidate and neglect you. Walking ahead can also indicate that a narcissist is pulling away from you. Wrong. Number 3, walking alongside someone is a sign of unconscious acceptance and compromise, with both of you finding a walking tempo that falls somewhere in the middle of your average walking speed. But narcissists do not compromise with anyone at any cost, especially their significant others. Wrong. This provoked quite a response in the comments, as plenty lined up to tell Danish that they do this, but it doesn't mean they are a narcissist. One said they did this with their husband, but it was only because he walks insanely slowly, and I just naturally walk at a faster pace. While another said they also didn't walk besides other people they were with, as they have ADHD and can't stand slow walkers. A third wrote in to say that their wife walks slowly while they walk quickly, and that not always walking together doesn't make me a narcissist. However, the others commented that what Danish was saying chimed with their experience of being in a relationship with a narcissist. Someone wrote that their former partner would always leave me behind and not even check if I was okay, while another said that their narcissistic partner kept telling them they were walking too slowly. The problem with information put out like this is it's misleading and incomplete. Let me correct it. First of all, it should make it clear that you can't determine that somebody is a narcissist just from a one-off incident. As regular viewers will know, I repeatedly explain to you how you need to look at a range of behaviours over a sustained period of time. And the problem with information such as this, it causes people, as can be seen in their comments, to think, so what you're saying is, if somebody walks ahead of you, you're dealing with a narcissist. No, it needs to be made clear it is a potential indicator. Furthermore, it is incorrect to suggest that this is done often. Here's why. What is it that a narcissist requires from you? Fuel and control. Character traits and residual benefits. The first two are the most important aspects. A narcissist is not going to obtain fuel from you by walking some distance ahead of you. Now, there will be certain instances where the narcissist doesn't need to obtain fuel from you. But if you're out on a walk with a narcissist and there's nobody else around, the narcissist will want to obtain fuel. You're the only person that's about to obtain it from, unless perhaps they decide to telephone somebody. But the narcissist subconsciously or consciously prefers proximate fuel, namely getting it from somebody who's right next to them rather than necessarily doing so through an electronic medium, because proximate involvement provides a much larger amount of fuel. Therefore, the narcissist, rather than walking ahead of you, is more likely to want to be next to you, talking to you, talking at you, provoking you in some way so that you provide responses. Therefore, it's much more likely that the narcissist is going to be alongside you in order to obtain that all-important fuel from you. Furthermore, if you're in the golden period with the narcissist, whether it's the initial golden period or an ongoing golden period where, for instance, you're a secondary source, or a respite period that has been applied, the narcissist is going to treat you well, which means that the narcissist is going to walk alongside you, that they're going to talk to you, that they're going to interact with you. And therefore, to suggest that it's something that the narcissist would often do, that they would walk ahead of you, again, is wrong and fails to take into account the particularization of the dynamic. This, of course, is demonstrative of somebody who is not an expert and doesn't fully appreciate nor understand the intricacies of the dynamic between a narcissist and the victim. Thus, during the golden period, the narcissist is far more likely to actually walk alongside you, indeed, slowing down to make sure you're okay if you're a slower walker, exhibiting false compassion, cognitive empathy. In some instances, even when you're in devaluation, the narcissist will walk alongside you in order to provoke you and obtain fuel. Yes, there will be instances where a narcissist will walk ahead of you, for instance, perhaps providing you with a silent treatment in order to assert control over you, in order to belittle you by pointing out that you're a slower walker and because they have no emotional empathy. But to suggest that this is something that happens often is incorrect. The narcissist is more likely to be alongside you for the reasons that I've explained than be walking ahead of you. Furthermore, it's important to point out the observation I made about it being an indicator rather than it being determinative. The fact is, information such as this gets it wrong and causes people to think, oh, right, so this person who walks in front of me, they must be a narcissist. No. Or, well, the person I was with, I think they were a narcissist, but they didn't walk ahead of me. Maybe they weren't. Well, of course, not all narcissists will necessarily do this. There will be some that will walk ahead, and the reason that they're doing this isn't to demonstrate dominance. It is quite simply because they have no emotional empathy for you, that they are caught up in doing what they want, walking at the speed that they require, and you get left behind. Or it's a deliberate act by the narcissism to put distance between you and the narcissist, in effect giving you a silent treatment. Of course, the supposed expert doesn't recognize this and fails to explain it. Furthermore, suggesting that it is a sign that the narcissist is pulling away from you is nonsense. It doesn't mean that at all. Simply, It is being done if the individual is a narcissist and they are walking ahead of you in order to provoke you, in order to perhaps cause you to complain, slow down, wait for me, thus providing fuel, or to assert control over you by withdrawal, by walking ahead of you and in effect giving you a silent treatment. It is not an indicator that the narcissist is pulling away from you within the relationship. Accordingly, it's important to point out these errors because they really don't help anybody. And that's why it's so important for you to direct as many people as you possibly can to my work to ensure that the correct and detailed explanation for the behavior of the narcissist is supplied to people. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.